Anna Mikhailovna's hands shake as she holds the book, not from cold, though the apartment is 20 degrees below zero, not from hunger, though she hasn't eaten in 2 days. Her hands shake because she's doing mathematics. Terrible mathematics. The book is her daughter Katya's school primer. Blue cloth cover, 140 pages. If she tears out 10 pages at a time and burns them carefully in the little iron stove, each bundle will burn for approximately 4 minutes. That's 56 minutes of heat total, not quite an hour. Her mother lies on the bed against the wall, wrapped in every blanket they own. She hasn't spoken in 3 days. Her breathing is shallow, irregular. The cold is killing her. Anna knows this. Everyone knows this. In Leningrad in January of 1942, cold kills almost as efficiently as starvation. Katya sits at the table, watching. She's 9 years old. She weighs less than a sack of potatoes. Her school has been closed since November. There are no teachers left. Half of them are dead. The other half are too weak to stand. Anna does the mathematics again. 56 minutes of warmth might keep her mother alive until morning, but Katya will need that book. When the siege ends, if the siege ends, when life returns to normal, if normal returns, she looks at the book, she looks at her mother, she looks at her daughter. The German army has surrounded Leningrad for 133 days. The daily bread ration is 125 grams. That's 4 slices, 4 thin slices, for an entire day. There is no other food. The city has eaten its horses, its cats, its dogs, its leather belts, its wallpaper paste. Anna makes her decision. She tears out the first 10 pages. But to understand this moment, to understand how a mother chooses between her daughter's education and her own mother's life, we must go back to 4:30 that morning, when Anna first opened her eyes in the darkness, back to when the day began and the impossible choices were still hours away. 4:30 in the morning, Anna wakes to absolute darkness. There is no electricity in Leningrad. There hasn't been since December. The power stations have no fuel. The city runs on nothing. She doesn't move immediately. Movement requires energy. Energy requires food. Food doesn't exist. So she lies still, conserving calories, listening to the sounds of the apartment. Her mother's breathing raspy, irregular. Katya's breath beside her. They sleep together now for warmth. The building itself, creaking and settling in the cold like a ship trapped in ice. The temperature inside the apartment is -15 degrees Celsius. Outside, it's -25. This is what January in Leningrad means now. The Neva River has frozen solid. You can walk across it. People do, carrying sleds loaded with corpses wrapped in bedsheets. The cemeteries can't dig graves fast enough. The ground is frozen solid 1 meter deep. Anna forces herself to sit up. Her head swims. Hunger does this. Starvation does this. Your body begins eating itself, first fat, then muscle, then eventually organs. She's been on siege rations for 4 months. Her body has forgotten what full feels like. She fumbles for the matches on the floor beside the bed. Lights one. The brief flare hurts her eyes. By its light, she can see her breath, thick white clouds in the frozen air. She lights a candle stub, they have 3 left, and sets it on the table. The apartment is 1 room. It used to feel cozy. Now it feels like a cave, like a tomb. The walls are frosted on the inside. Ice crystals climb from the corners toward the ceiling in delicate, beautiful patterns, beautiful and deadly. She looks at her mother, still breathing. Good. That's something. Yesterday, the woman in the apartment below them stopped breathing. It took her family 4 hours to notice. Everyone moves slowly now. Everything takes longer when you're starving. Katya stirs beside her. Her daughter is a ghost wrapped in blankets. Anna can count every rib through her nightdress, every vertebra in her spine. Children are dying faster than adults in Leningrad. Their bodies have no reserves, no cushion against starvation. 4,000 children died in December. 4,000. Mama? Katya's voice is barely a whisper. Sleep a little longer, Anna says. It's early. I'm cold? I know, my son. I know. My son? That's what she calls Katya, Moje solnishko, a term of endearment from a time when the sun still seemed to exist, when warmth seemed possible, when the Germans were just rumors, and Leningrad was simply home. Anna stands. It takes effort. Her legs are weak. Dystrophy, the doctors call it. Hunger disease. Your muscles waste away. Eventually, you can't stand at all. Eventually, you lie down and don't get up. She's seen it happen to neighbors, to friends, to strangers in bread queues who simply collapse and don't rise. She moves to the small iron stove in the corner. It's barely larger than a cooking pot. They installed it in October, breaking a hole through the wall for the chimney pipe. Everyone did. The city's central heating died in November. Now everyone burns whatever they can find. They've already burned most of their furniture. The chairs, the small table, the bookshelf. They've burned Nikolai's old newspapers, her husband's newspapers, saved for years, now nothing but ash and 3 minutes of warmth each. They've burned photographs, letters, everything combustible except the bed frame and this table, which they need for eating, for preparing the daily bread ration, for the rituals that separate humans from animals. Anna opens the stove. A few embers remain from last night's fire. She adds 2 small pieces of wood broken chair legs, saved carefully, uses her precious match to light a twist of newspaper underneath, coaxes the flame, breathes on it gently. The fire catches. For 60 seconds, maybe 90, there will be warmth. She holds her hands over the flame. Her fingers are gray. The skin is cracked and bleeding from cold and malnutrition. She can barely feel them anymore. Frostbite is coming. She knows this, but today she still has fingers. Today she can still work. Today is not yet the end. At 5 o'clock, she'll wake Katya properly. They'll have their morning ritual, the 20 milliliters of hot water that passes for tea, made from pine needles boiled 3 times over. Then they'll prepare for the day's single crucial task, getting bread. But first, she needs to check on her mother. 5:45 in the morning. Still dark. It's always dark in January in Leningrad. The sun doesn't rise until 9. It sets at 3 in the afternoon. 6 hours of pale gray light. 18 hours of night. Time loses meaning. Days blur together into one endless, frozen dusk. Anna and Katya leave the apartment building. The stairwell is dark and smells of urine and worse. The toilet stopped working in December. No water pressure. People use buckets now, or they simply go outside. Dignity died weeks ago. They step into the street. The cold hits like a physical blow. Minus 25 degrees Celsius feels like breathing broken glass. Anna wraps her scarf tighter around Katya's face. Only her daughter's eyes show dark, enormous eyes in a skeletal face. The street is not empty. It's never empty. Even at this hour, shadows move through the darkness. People going to bread queues. People going to water distribution points, the frozen Neva, the few working wells. People pulling sleds loaded with bodies, wrapped in sheets or blankets, or nothing at all, because there are no coffins, no wood for coffins, and the dead must be disposed of before they freeze solid. Anna and Katya walk slowly, not from caution, from necessity. Fast movement burns calories. Every calorie must be hoarded, must be treasured, must be spent only on survival. They pass a woman sitting against a building wall. She's not moving, her eyes are open. She's dead, has been dead for hours, probably. Frozen solid. Anna doesn't stop, can't stop. In Leningrad, in January of 1942, you walk past corpses the way you once walked past pigeons. Acknowledgement without surprise, horror without shock. Katya doesn't look at the body. She's learned not to look. The bakery is 6 blocks away. The queue will be long. It's always long. Bread is distributed twice daily, morning and evening. The ration is 125 grams per person per day. For workers in essential factories, it's 200 grams. For soldiers, 500. But Anna is not a worker anymore. The textile factory where she sewed uniforms closed in November. No power, no materials, no workers strong enough to stand at machines for 10 hours. So she gets 125 grams. Katya gets 125 grams. Her mother gets 125 grams. 375 grams total. That's 13 ounces. Less than 1 pound. For 3 people. For an entire day. They reach the bakery at 6:15. The queue already stretches around the block. 200 people, maybe more. It's hard to count in the darkness. They're just shapes, wrapped in every layer they own, breath vapor rising like small ghosts in the lampless street. Anna takes her place at the end. Katya leans against her. They wait. The queue moves slowly, desperately slowly. It will take 3 hours to reach the front. 3 hours standing in -25-degree cold. 3 hours during which you burn precious calories, simply staying alive, simply not freezing to death while you wait for the bread that will barely replace those calories. This is the mathematics of siege, the equation that has no solution. You must stand in line to get bread. Standing in line burns energy. Bread provides energy, but not enough energy, never enough. So every day you end with less than you started. Every day you slip a little closer to the edge. Every day, the gap between calories consumed and calories expended grows slightly wider. In October, Anna weighed 56 kilograms. Now she weighs 41. 15 kilograms lost, 33 pounds. That's how long the siege has lasted. That's how much of herself she's burned for fuel. A man ahead of them in line collapses. Simply crumples, like a puppet with cut strings. 3 people try to help him stand. He doesn't stand. His eyes are open. He's conscious. But his legs won't work anymore. Dystrophy. Hunger disease. The final stage. 2 young men, young by age, old by appearance, drag him out of line and prop him against the building wall. They return to their places in the queue. The man sits against the wall. He'll die there, probably, within hours. But at least he's out of the way. At least the line can move. Anna feels nothing watching this. That's what frightens her most. Not the starvation, not the cold, not the daily deaths, but this, the absence of feeling. The emptiness where horror used to live. She's becoming something else. Something harder. Something necessary for survival, but terrible to contemplate. Katya tugs her sleeve. Mama, I need to sit. We can't leave the line, my son. Just for a minute. If we leave, we lose our place. If we lose our place, we won't get bread. Katya nods. Understands. She's 9 years old and she understands survival mechanics that no child should comprehend. She stays standing. The sky begins to lighten. Not sunrise, not yet, but the faint gray promise of it. Around them, the queue has grown. 500 people now. 600. The bakery won't have bread for everyone. It never does. The last 50 people in line will be turned away. We'll have waited 3, 4, 5 hours in lethal cold for nothing. We'll go home empty-handed. We'll try again at the evening distribution. Some of them will die before evening comes. At 7:30, the bakery doors open. The queue surges forward. Not running, no one can run, but pressing, shuffling, desperate. Anna keeps Katya close. People have been crushed in bread queues, trampled, suffocated. Panic is a luxury the starving can't afford, but desperation isn't luxury. Desperation is fuel. They move forward. 10 meters, 20. The doors are visible now. Anna can smell the bread. It's not real bread. It's 50% sawdust, 10% cellulose, bark shavings, cottonseed cake, but it's food. It's calories. It's life measured in grams. At 8:15, they reach the counter. The baker is a woman of 40 who looks 70. Hollow cheeks, sunken eyes, mechanical movements. She's weighed this bread 1,000 times, 10,000 times. She doesn't look at faces anymore, just ration cards. Anna hands over her card and Katya's. The baker stamps them, takes 2 small dark loaves from the basket behind her, weighs them on the scale 123 grams, 127 grams. Close enough. She hands them across the counter. Anna puts them in her bag, immediately. Before anything can happen, before anyone can take them, robbery is common now. Murder for bread. The city's moral infrastructure has collapsed along with everything else. Civilization is 3 missed meals from barbarism. Leningrad proved that. They step out of the bakery into the pale morning light. It's 9 o'clock. The sun is rising, a cold, distant disk that provides no warmth. They've been standing for 2 hours and 45 minutes. They've obtained 250 grams of bread substitute. They've burned approximately 150 calories standing in the cold. Now they must get home, must protect the bread, must decide how to divide it all at once, or portioned throughout the day. Another mathematics problem, another impossible equation. But first, Anna needs to find fuel, something to burn, because her mother is dying of cold and she has 3 candles left, and tonight will be even colder than last night. 10 o'clock. Anna and Katya return to the apartment. Anna's mother is awake, barely. Her eyes track them as they enter, but she doesn't speak, can't speak. The cold has taken her voice along with her strength. Anna tears the first loaf in half, gives 1/4 to Katya, 1/4 to her mother, who eats it in tiny bites, mechanically, like a machine running on its last reserve of power. Anna eats nothing herself. She'll eat tonight, maybe, if there's any left, if she can afford to. The bread tastes like sawdust because it is sawdust, but it's dense, heavy, filling in a way that makes your stomach hurt. That's the cellulose indigestible plant fiber that creates the illusion of fullness without providing nutrition. The siege bread is slowly poisoning everyone who eats it. But the alternative to eating it is death within days. So they eat it. After breakfast, Anna makes a decision. She needs to find fuel, wood, paper, anything combustible. The apartment is nearly stripped. They've burned everything burnable except the bed frame, this table, and Katya's schoolbooks stacked in the corner. 5 books, her daughter's entire education, reduced to 5 thin volumes. Stay with grandmother, Anna tells Katya. Keep her warm. I'll be back before dark. Katya nods. She knows this routine. Her mother goes out, searches, sometimes returns with something, sometimes with nothing. Either way, they survive one more day. That's the goal now. Not happiness, not comfort, just one more day. Anna leaves the building and heads toward the Fontanka River. There are abandoned buildings there, bombed buildings, places where wood might still exist, beams, floorboards, door frames. The city has been picked clean, but sometimes you find something others missed. The streets are busier now. Mid-morning in Leningrad, people moving like ghosts through a gray landscape. Most are heading to water distribution points, the Neva, mostly, where you can chop through the ice and fill buckets with river water. Some are pulling sleds with bodies. Some are simply sitting against walls, too weak to continue, waiting to die. Anna passes a group of militiamen loading bodies onto a truck. They're taking them to Piskarev Cemetery, or trying to. The cemetery is receiving 4,000 bodies per day. The gravediggers can't keep up. Bodies are stacked in warehouses. In the cemetery chapel, in open pits that will be covered when the ground thaws in spring. If spring comes, if the siege ends, if they live that long, she reaches the bombed building. It was a school once, 3 stories, brick construction. A German bomb hit it in October. The roof is gone, the top floor is rubble, but the lower floors might still have something. She climbs through a broken window. Inside, it's darker, colder, the smell of damp and rot. She picks her way through debris, broken desks, shattered glass, a child's arithmetic book, pages frozen together. There, in the corner, a wooden door, blown off its hinges. Oak, heavy, maybe 20 kilograms. That's a week of fuel. Maybe more, if she burns it carefully. She tries to lift it. Can't. Too heavy. She's too weak. 4 months ago, she could have carried it easily. Now her arms shake with the effort of simply trying. She'll have to break it apart here. Carry it piece by piece. She finds a metal rod in the rubble, uses it as a lever, pries at the door. It splinters. Good. She breaks off a section, maybe 3 kilograms, manageable. She wraps it in her shawl and ties it to her back. She breaks off another section, wraps it, ties it. As she works, she hears something. Footsteps. Someone else in the building, scavenging, like her, or something worse. A man appears in the doorway, thin, emaciated, like everyone. He sees her, sees the wood. They stare at each other. This is the moment. The calculation. Does he try to take it? Does she fight? Does she run? Can she run? The man speaks. There's more in the next room. A desk. Anna nods. Take it. He nods back. Moves past her into the darkness. They don't speak again. Don't need to. In Leningrad, there's an unspoken code among scavengers. Enough suffering exists without creating more. Enough death without adding to it. You find your fuel. I find mine. We both go home. We both survive one more day. Anna leaves the building with 6 kilograms of oak wood. Tonight, her mother will have warmth. Tomorrow is another problem. Tomorrow's calculations can wait. 1:30 in the afternoon. Anna returns to the apartment. Katya meets her at the door. Her face is stricken. Grandmother won't wake up. Anna drops the wood, moves to the bed. Her mother lies exactly as she left her, wrapped in blankets, eyes closed, breathing. But the breathing is different now. Slower, shallower. The rattling sound that means the end is near. Anna has heard this sound before. Her husband, Nikolai, made this sound 3 weeks ago, before he died, before they took his body to Piskarev Cemetery and buried him in a mass grave with 400 others. She touches her mother's face. Ice cold. Not frozen dead cold, but close. So close. She needs heat. Now. Not tonight. Now. Anna looks at the wood she just brought home. 6 kilograms of oak. She could burn some now. Give her mother warmth. Buy her maybe another day. Maybe 2. But if she burns it now, there will be less for tonight. Less for tomorrow. And winter has 2 more months to run. February will be colder than January. March colder still. The siege shows no signs of ending. The German army sits outside the city like a patient predator, waiting, watching, letting winter do their work for them. Anna does the mathematics, the terrible mathematics. 6 kilograms of wood. Burned carefully, that's 4 days of warmth. 4 days of keeping the apartment just barely above freezing. 4 days of survival for 3 people. Or she can burn 2 kilograms now, give her mother intense heat for 3 hours, maybe save her, maybe, but probably not. Probably her mother is dying regardless. Probably the cold has done damage that warmth can't reverse. And if Anna burns 2 kilograms now, she'll have 4 kilograms left. Less than 3 days of fuel. And then what? She looks at Katya. Her daughter is watching her, waiting, understanding without words that a decision is being made, that choices exist, that someone must choose. Anna stands, walks to the corner where Katya's schoolbooks are stacked. 5 books, the primer with the blue cloth cover, a mathematics textbook, a reader, a geography book, a history book. She picks up the blue primer. 140 pages, 56 minutes of heat. She tears out 10 pages, carries them to the stove, lights the fire. The pages burn bright and fast. The flames climb higher than wood flames. Paper burns hot, burns clean, burns completely. Anna feeds the flames. 10 more pages. 10 more. The heat is immediate, intense. The temperature in the apartment climbs from -15 to -10 to -5. She carries her mother closer to the stove, unwraps one blanket so the heat can reach her, rubs her hands, her arms, trying to bring circulation back, trying to bring warmth back into her dying body. Katya watches from the table, doesn't speak, doesn't cry, just watches her schoolbook disappear into the fire, page by page. After 30 pages, Anna stops. The room is warm, warmer than it's been in weeks. Her mother's breathing has stabilized. Not improved, but stabilized. The crisis has passed. For now, Anna looks at the remaining pages. 110 pages left, 44 minutes of heat. She could burn them all, could keep the warmth going, but then the book would be gone. Katya's primer, her introduction to reading, to knowledge, to the world that existed before the siege. She closes the book, puts it back in the corner with the others. Katya speaks. Will grandmother be all right? Anna wants to lie, wants to say yes, wants to give her daughter hope, but lies are luxuries. Lies require energy. In Leningrad, truth is cheaper. I don't know, my son. Can we burn more? Not today. Katya accepts this. She's learned acceptance. She's learned that survival requires calculations that have no right answers, only choices, only consequences. At 2 o'clock, Anna makes tea. Not real tea. Water boiled with pine needles. They collect the needles from the frozen Tauride garden, a public park now stripped of everything burnable except the pine trees themselves. The militia guards them, shooting people who try to cut them down. The trees must survive. They produce oxygen. They're worth more alive than as firewood. The tea is bitter, astringent, but it's hot. That's something. That's enough. At 2:30, Anna divides the remaining bread, the second loaf, saved from morning. She cuts it into 3 precise pieces, weighs them in her hand, equal as she can manage. She gives 1 piece to Katya, 1 to her mother, who eats it mechanically, slowly, without awareness. The 3rd piece she wraps in cloth and puts in her pocket, for evening, for later, for the long night ahead. Her stomach cramps with hunger. It's been 40 hours since she last ate, but she can go longer. Adults can go longer than children. That's biology. That's mathematics. That's the logic of survival. At 3 o'clock, the sun sets. The room plunges into darkness. Anna lights one of their 3 remaining candles, precious, irreplaceable, but necessary. Darkness in winter in Leningrad is absolute, suffocating. You need light to remain human. By candlelight, she looks at her mother, still breathing, still alive. She bought her mother a day, maybe 2, at the cost of 30 pages from Katya's primer, at the cost of 44 minutes of future warmth. Was it worth it? Is any of this worth it? She doesn't know, can't know, won't know until the siege ends. If it ends, if they survive, if survival itself is worth what it costs to achieve it. At 4 o'clock, Katya sleeps, curled against Anna, wrapped in shared blankets, conserving warmth, conserving life. Anna sits awake, watching the candle burn down, watching the shadows on the walls, thinking about tomorrow, about the next bread queue, the next scavenging mission, the next impossible choice. This is January in Leningrad. This is the siege. Not tanks, not bombs, not soldiers, just mathematics, just cold, just choices that have no right answers. Just survival measured in grams and pages and minutes of warmth. Just this. Day after day after day. 900 days. That's how long the siege will last. But Anna doesn't know that, can't know that. On this day in January of 1942, she knows only this moment, this choice, this impossible, necessary, terrible choice. And tomorrow, there will be another 6 o'clock in the evening, complete darkness. The candle has burned down to a stub. Anna lights it again, the second of their 3 remaining candles. The flame catches, flickers, stabilizes. Her mother's breathing has changed again. Faster now, shallower. The warmth from the burned pages has worn off. The apartment is minus 18 degrees Celsius, colder than this morning, colder than last night. The coldest January in 70 years. That's what the radio said, before the radio stopped working, before the batteries died and couldn't be replaced because batteries don't exist anymore. Anna makes her final calculation of the day. She has 3 pieces of wood left from her afternoon's scavenging, approximately 2 kilograms. That's enough for 2 hours of warmth. She can burn it now, give her mother heat, give the apartment a reprieve from the killing cold, or she can save it for tomorrow. Use it to warm water in the morning, to boil pine needle tea, to create a few minutes of comfort before the next bread queue. She burns 1 piece, only 1, feeds it into the stove carefully, economically. The fire catches. The room temperature climbs to minus 12, not warm, but warmer, enough to stop the descent toward death, enough to buy another night. Katya wakes. Mama, I'm here. My son. Is it morning? No, still evening. Sleep more. But Katya doesn't sleep. She sits up, looks at her grandmother, Is she dying? Anna considers lying again. But what's the point? Children in Leningrad know death. They see it daily, in the streets, in the bread queues, in their own apartments as family members simply stop breathing, stop moving, stop being. Yes, Anna says. Soon? Tonight? Maybe? I don't know. Katya is quiet for a moment. Then, I'm hungry. Anna takes the bread from her pocket, the piece she saved, unwraps it, breaks it in half, gives the larger half to Katya, eats the smaller half herself. 62 grams of bread substitute, 220 calories. Not enough, never enough, but it's something, it's fuel. It keeps the body functioning one more hour, one more night. The bread sits heavy in Anna's stomach. The sawdust and cellulose create an ache, a fullness that isn't nourishment. Her body knows the difference, knows it's being cheated, but there's no choice, no alternative. This is what eating means now. At 7 o'clock, her mother opens her eyes. For the first time in hours, she's conscious, aware. Anna. Her voice is barely a whisper, barely a breath. Anna moves to the bed, kneels beside it, takes her mother's hand. The fingers are blue, frozen. I'm here, Mama. Katya? She's here. She's safe. Her mother's eyes move to find Katya, settle on her granddaughter. Something passes between them, recognition, love, goodbye, all of it wordless, all of it understood. The books, her mother whispers. Anna doesn't understand. What books? Don't burn the books. Anna's chest tightens. Her mother saw, understood. Even in her semi-conscious state, she understood what Anna did, what Anna sacrificed, what she chose. I had to, Anna says. You were dying, still dying. A ghost of a smile. Save the books, for after. After. That word, that impossible, dangerous, necessary word. After the siege, after the war, after survival becomes living again, instead of just not dying. I will, Anna lies. Her mother knows it's a lie, but she accepts it, closes her eyes. Good girl, those are her last words. She doesn't die immediately. Her breathing continues slow, irregular, fading, but consciousness doesn't return. She's left them, has already gone somewhere else, somewhere warmer. Katya climbs into the bed, curls against her grandmother, not for warmth now, for goodbye. Anna sits at the table, watches, waits. This is how people die in Leningrad, quietly, gradually, slipping away without drama or crisis, just breathing that becomes shallower, longer pauses between breaths, until finally the pauses become permanent. At 8:43 in the evening, her mother stops breathing. Katya notices first. Mama, grandmother stopped. Anna checks. No pulse, no breath, no warmth, just a body, just matter. The person who was her mother has gone. What remains is something that needs disposal. That needs removal before decomposition begins. That needs transport to Piskarev Cemetery or one of the other mass burial sites where thousands of bodies lie in open trenches. But that's tomorrow's problem. Tonight, the body can stay, wrapped in blankets, frozen solid by morning, preserved by the cold that killed her. Anna pulls Katya away from the bed, away from the body that was grandmother. They sit together at the table. Anna wraps them both in the remaining blanket. They share body heat, share breath, share the terrible, necessary acceptance that this is how things are now. What do we do with her? Katya asks. Tomorrow. The men with sleds come in the morning. They'll take her. Where? The cemetery. Will we visit? Anna doesn't answer. doesn't have the heart to explain that visiting is impossible, that the cemetery is kilometers away, that the mass graves are unmarked, that her mother will be buried with hundreds of others in a trench 10 meters long and 3 meters deep, that finding her grave will be impossible, that she will simply disappear into the statistics of the siege. 900 days, 1 million dead. Her mother will be one of those numbers. One life reduced to one mark in a ledger, one body in a trench, one loss among millions. At 9 o'clock, the candle burns down. Anna debates lighting the third, the last, but she decides against it. They can sit in darkness. Darkness is free. Darkness costs nothing. They sit together. Mother and daughter, two people who used to be three, who were four before Nikolai died, who might be one soon if the siege doesn't end. Mama? Katya's voice in the darkness. Yes, my son, will we die too? Honesty or hope? Truth or comfort? Anna chooses truth. It's cheaper. Maybe. I don't know. We'll try not to. One day at a time. Tomorrow we get bread. Tomorrow we find more fuel. Tomorrow we survive. That's how. Katya accepts this. She's learned to accept. She's learned that survival is measured in days, in breaths, in grams of sawdust bread and minutes of warmth. They sit in darkness until midnight. Then Anna makes them lie down, on the bed, beside the body. They have no choice. It's the only bed, the only place to sleep. They'll move the body tomorrow. Tonight, they share space with death. It's not unusual. Many families in Leningrad sleep beside corpses, waiting for morning, waiting for the disposal crews. Death is just another neighbor now, another presence in the room, something familiar, something ordinary. Anna lies awake, listening to Katya breathe, listening to the building settle, listening to the absence where her mother's breathing used to be. She thinks about the books in the corner. 5 books, Katya's entire education, her connection to the world before the siege, before starvation, before mathematics that measure life in pages and minutes. She thinks about tomorrow, the bread queue, the search for fuel, the daily survival that never ends. And she thinks about spring. If spring comes, if the siege ends, if they live long enough to see leaves on trees again, warmth that doesn't require burning books or furniture or the last remnants of civilized life. If, the most dangerous word in Russian, the most necessary, the most human, 4:30 in the morning. Anna wakes in darkness. Beside her, Katya breathes. Alive, still alive. That's something. That's enough. Beside them both, her mother lies wrapped in blankets, dead, frozen, waiting for removal. Anna doesn't move yet, doesn't have the energy, doesn't have the will. She lies in the darkness and does the mathematics for the new day. Bread queue, 3 hours, 250 grams obtained, 150 calories burned standing in cold. Fuel search, unknown time, unknown results, unknown energy expenditure. Her mother's body, disposal required. The men with sleds will come, or she can drag the body herself to the collection point. More energy, more calories burned. The remaining books, 4 left now, 560 pages total, 3 hours 44 minutes of heat. The remaining wood, 2 kilograms, 1 day of warmth. The remaining bread, none. They ate it all yesterday. Today starts at 0. This is January in Leningrad. Every day starts at 0. Every day requires the same impossible calculations. Every day demands choices that have no right answers. Anna forces herself to sit up, lights the last candle with her second-to-last match. The flame catches, holds, illuminates the small room. Everything looks the same as yesterday. The frozen walls, the empty stove, the books in the corner, the body on the bed. Everything looks the same. Everything is different. One less person now, one less mouth to feed, one less body to keep warm. The mathematics have changed. Anna and Katya will have more bread, more fuel, better odds of survival. This is how siege logic works. Death improves the mathematics for those who remain. Horror becomes advantage. Loss becomes opportunity. Anna hates herself for thinking this, hates the cold logic of survival, hates what the siege has made her, but she thinks it anyway, can't help thinking it. The body does its own mathematics. The body knows that fewer people means more calories, means better survival odds. The body doesn't mourn, only the mind mourns, and the mind is learning to be quiet, learning to step aside, learning that sentiment is a luxury that burns calories they don't have. She wakes Katya. They don't speak about grandmother, don't acknowledge the body between them. They simply get up, get dressed in their layers, prepare for the day ahead. At 5 o'clock, they'll leave for the bread queue. At 8 o'clock, they'll return with bread. At noon, Anna will search for fuel. At 3 o'clock, the sun will set. At 9 o'clock, they'll sleep. This is the rhythm now, the routine, the ritual that separates humans from animals, the structure that provides meaning when meaning has been stripped from everything else. Tomorrow will be the same, and the day after, and the day after that, 900 days. But Anna doesn't know this, doesn't know that winter will end, that spring will come, that the siege will be broken in January of 1944, that she and Katya will survive, that they'll outlast the Germans, outlast the cold, outlast the mathematics of starvation. She doesn't know any of this. On this January morning in 1942, she knows only this: she's alive. Katya's alive. The bread queue waits. The day begins. And that, somehow, is enough. She stands, wraps the scarf around her face, takes Katya's hand. They walk into the darkness, into the cold, into another day of impossible mathematics and necessary choices. They walk into January, into the siege, into survival, one day at a time, one breath at a time, one calculation at a time. This is how you live through the unthinkable. You don't think about it, you just live, you just breathe, you just survive, until surviving becomes living again, until January becomes spring, until the siege ends and the impossible becomes memory, and memory becomes history, and history becomes a documentary script read by strangers 75 years later. But today is not that day. Today is just January, just cold, just bread, just this.